Hi, this is Susan Campfield with SueStampfield.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today we're going to do a fun Halloween project. This can be either a card or a treat holder because everything is better with a little bit of candy in it, right? So we've got a Halloween Kit Kat tucked into this little pocket, but it also could be a card, and this is what we call a crisscross card. And so it forms a pocket and you pull out the inside portion, and that's where you would write your greeting. Or of course, if you wanted to write more, you could write it on the back. So let me walk you through this fun project and how to make a crisscross card. This one is a little bit of an adaptation from the standard crisscross because I wanted to use the same side of the patterned paper. Typically with this project you use the two sides of the paper, but I wanted to use the same side, so I'll show you the adaptation I made to make that happen. Let's get started. So we're going to start with our cardstock here. I have an 8.5 by 11 piece of basic black, and then we have some great Halloween paper that is called Motley Monsters, and in the paper we've got this fun candy corn design. So I have two pieces that are cut 4 by 3. And then this is on the back side. It's also adorable, but it is directional, and so it's not going to work well for my angled project here. So I'm going to start with the 8.5 by 11 of basic black. You are going to need this entire piece, except for a few little triangles that we're going to cut out. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. If you don't already have a fabulous paper trimmer at home, this is a great thing to pick up. Cuts perfectly straight and exactly the measurements that you want. So we're going to measure it at 5.5 right here, and then I'm going to actually score it at 5.5, and then I'll rotate it here, and I'm going to line it up at the 4 1/4 mark, and we'll just slide the cutting blade, which is the dark gray, and cut our piece. So I now have two pieces that are 11 inches long, 4 1/4 wide, and then are scored at 5.5. And I'm going to take those two pieces and I'm going to lay each one at a time in the trimmer. And it's a little easier for me to see if I fold on that score. This is the portion that cuts. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. This is where the cutting blade is going to go, in that groove. So you can see I've got my score mark lined up with the groove where the cutting blade is going to be sliding, and the opposite corner is also lined up with that groove, so that when I slide my blade I get a diagonal cut from corner to corner on the one side of the card. And this piece I'll set aside for another project. And now I'm going to do the same thing with my other piece of cardstock. I'll lay it in here, line up the score with that groove and the opposite corner. And we'll trim that off as well. So now I have two pieces, and one's going to go one direction, the other's going to go the opposite. So I'm going to put adhesive in this portion, and I'm going to adhere these two together. That gives me the two arms that are going to crisscross in front. So there's our crisscross card. I do use regular liquid glue or snail adhesive to glue these two pieces together, but my front piece I'm going to adhere the bottom with sticky strip to make my pocket nice and strong. However, before I do that, I want to add my patterned paper. Let's go back to our sample here. Now my pattern paper I also want to cut at an angle, and so that it will fit inside these pockets. So I have my two pieces, again they're 4 by 3, and I'm going to lay it into my paper trimmer, and I'm going to be using my cutting blade. And if you picture this rectangle on the side, this is my top left and this is the bottom right. So I'm going to lay my paper in so that the top left corner is in the groove that's going to be cutting, and the bottom opposite corner is in the other groove, so that I'm going to be making a corner to corner cut here. Now this is a piece that's going to layer on the front of our card, so let me bring that in. But you can see what happened is it cut two triangles with this pattern that are exactly the same. So this piece is not going to work over here unless I flipped it over. And when you have directional paper, that doesn't always work. For instance, in this situation, my crows are upside down. Perhaps if I'd planned that better, they would have been right side up. But also the colors don't match like I would like them to. So I really want to use the candy corn side. So let me show you how I did that. So I'm going to save these two left-sided pieces, and now I'm going to make two right-sided pieces. So I'm going to be in effect cutting for two cards at one time. So this piece, if you recall, my first piece, I laid it in my trimmer so that I cut from the top left corner to the bottom right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn my paper over to the crow side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go from the top left to the bottom right, but on the opposite side. So just slide that with your trimmer, and now when I flip it over, that's going to give me the matching triangles. So I now have enough to make two cards. I just have to cut more black for that second card. Hope that makes sense. So I'll set those aside, bring my finished card back in here. Now for this adorable ghost that is on the front of our project, I used this framelit and a stamp set. The stamp set I used is called Fall Fest, and it comes with a matching set of framelits. You can purchase the two together as a bundle and save a little money, or you can just get one or the other. Now for my project, I used the face stamp that comes in the set. I used the ghost face, not the two jack-o'-lantern faces, and the framelits just on white. I used the Momento black ink to stamp my face on our Whisper white cardstock and cut it out with the ghost framelit. Super cute set. The jack-o'-lantern stamps in this would also be adorable on this card, to put a jack-o'-lantern here instead of a ghost if that's your preference. For the inside of my card, I used a single stamp that is in the holiday catalog, and that one is called Halloween Street. It's just $7.95. It's a wood mount only stamp. Makes a really nice greeting because it has a little bit of a neighborhood scene right above the happy. So it's kind of fun, and it's nice and big as well, so it helps fill up your card. For my cardstock on the back here, I've got Tangerine Tango, and then my ribbon is the Tangelo twist ribbon. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'll have lots more Halloween projects coming very soon. If you have any questions, you can go to my blog, or please leave me a comment, and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for stopping by.